Hi, this is Sadhan Bhartia, and welcome to another episode of TFR Newsroom. And today we have with us once again Thomas Giacomo, President of Engineering and Innovation at SUSE. Thomas, first of all, welcome to the show once again. And today we have something exciting to talk about. Why did you see Rancher as a perfect target for SUSE at this time? So I want to understand why why you are going to acquire Rancher Labs.
And you've been following that space, and you know that Rancher, they've been very active, very innovative in the cloud native container management space for quite a while. So at SUSE, we are still involved there. I was at the board of the Cloud Native Computing Foundation with Shannon. So we've been discussing a lot together about where the technology was going. And it was clear to me from a long time ago that Rancher had a great vision about bringing the innovation that we do in the open source communities to real life, real problems that our customers are facing. And looking deeper, and that's not enough to acquire a company, obviously, but Rancher is focused on doing innovation that matters for customers. They have a market-leading Kubernetes management platform that's also very important for us. Not only that, we share a lot of our values and the culture in terms of open source-based innovation, focusing on values and innovating around that. So it was a pretty natural thing to do, actually.
Right. And since it's still pending approval, so there are a lot of things that we cannot talk about today. So let's talk about things we can comfortably talk about. One would be, I'm curious, from the organizational structure point of view, because you're bringing in people at the same time you're bringing in technologies. So let's start with the people side. How will the thing be restructured within SUSE to kind of embrace all the people that are coming from Rancher into the company?
Yeah, great question. So let me start with the Rancher founders, because the way we look at acquisition as well, it's more a partnership with people. Of course, you've got like technologies, customers, but it's about people, especially in the open source related industry. All right. And the Rancher founders are amazing people at a human being level, but also at a business level. So they will be a key part of the SUSE leadership. And for instance, Shang, who is the current CEO of Rancher, will become the president of engineering and innovation at SUSE once we combine the business. So after closing, we've announced that we signed, but it's not closed yet. But after closing, Shang will run engineering and innovation of the combined business. I will run the office of the CTO of the combined business, because today I'm the president of engineering and innovation at SUSE. And we will work closely together with Melissa, our CEO, and all the executive team on the technology innovation for our customers. Shannon Williams, who is another founder of Rancher, today is running sales. He was running marketing, will become the global chief operating officer of our combined SUSE customer organization with Paul Devlin, our chief customer officer. And I could go on for a long time, but Will Shan, who's running the engineering at Rancher, will also join. We don't have all the details because we've just signed, and we need to work together on the integration, and after closing, making the changes. But clearly, the Rancher founders are part of the business, and we are together to bring SUSE to the next steps. And not only the founders, everybody at Rancher as well. So we cannot wait to work with them. We work together already in some of the open source communities. We've been knowing a lot of them for a long time. I forgot to mention Darren, who is another co-founder of Rancher, the CTO of Rancher today. We've had a lot of discussions in the past at KubeCons about the technologies, and so we're very happy to join forces for the future.
Right. Now, let's talk about the technology piece. Before talking about how Rancher technologies will come and integrate with SUSE technology, what I want to understand is, if you look at SUSE, traditionally you have the Linux vendor, and then you involve into a open source provider that you do a lot of things. You have withdrawn from some markets, and you have become more aggressive in some markets. Today, when we look at a stack, nobody just needs an operating system. There are so many different components that they run on top of operating system. So where does Rancher fit into SUSE's product or service roadmap?
So the short answer is that we don't know until the deal is closed. But what I can tell you, if you just look at the industry in general, and if you look at the Rancher portfolio today, they've got great solutions for multi-hybrid cloud setups, right? So the Rancher management piece is there for customers to benefit from an agnostic environment where they can use Kubernetes distributions from public cloud, from GKE, AKS, EKS, as well as on-prem private data center-based Kubernetes distribution, upstream Kubernetes, other Kubernetes distribution in the market. And in a way, SUSE is actually doing a lot of that as well with our own products. If you think about SUSE Manager, it's to automate, configure, simplify the management of different types of infrastructure, different types of Linux, not only SUSE Linux. So here again, we share a lot of openness and making sure that we don't just enforce a stack to our customers, because they have real different needs, and they have also investments from the past. Now, there are very interesting topics like, let me pick up one. So K3S is a lightweight Kubernetes distribution. It's not only a distribution, it's a wrapper around Kubernetes, but it's designed, it's actually optimized to run better on lightweight devices or setup. So it's a great candidate for edge use cases, right? At SUSE, we are improving Linux for edge as well. You might remember that recently we signed a partnership with Electrobit to embed Linux in cars. So there are things we will do together that will benefit edge use cases and customers. Again, we don't know yet. I cannot tell you, but just looking at what's available already, that can give some ideas. Now, the one thing I would say as well is that, again, the Rancher customers are served today by Rancher until the closing is done. Same thing with the SUSE customers. And later on, we don't want to impact the Rancher customers or the SUSE customers. So we will never enforce one piece of the stack with the other if it doesn't make sense for our customers. And we believe that in a lot of cases, it will make a lot of sense, but we will not enforce it as well. There are other, you could think also about what SUSE is doing with Cloud Foundry, or what SUSE is doing to benefit the enterprise developer productivity and simplifying how we do cloud native applications. Technically speaking, it's based on Kubernetes, native Kubernetes. It can be deployed with Helm charts. Rancher is using Helm. So there are a lot of technology complementarity that can come together, but that's to be decided once the deal is closed.
Right, that is important because I think SUSE believes more in the working with partners instead of building their own stack. So that flexibility will still be there. It will not be soft vendor lock into SUSE ecosystem.
Absolutely, and Rancher believes the same as well. So it doesn't mean that we don't believe in our own solutions and don't provide something to our customers that is unique and addressing their needs. But it means as well that we actually enable them to cope with the diversity of their IT. And Rancher is taking a very similar approach. We discussed that with Shank and with the team, and we are very aligned there. Now again, we can do a lot of innovation as Rancher, as SUSE, and in the future as Rancher SUSE combined, that bring unique capabilities for use cases. But we will keep that openness in mind for sure.
And once again, this question you may choose to answer or not answer. What will happen with the Rancher branding and IP that they have? Will it become a unit within SUSE, or it will be integrated with SUSE's products and naming and services?
So yeah, I cannot answer that today, Swapnil, but what I can tell you is that the Rancher brand is strong. The Rancher brand is important. The Rancher community as well. And there are a lot of developers out there. There are a lot of users downloading, contributing, discussing the Rancher technologies. And so we'll proceed with, we will be very careful there. And I mean, if you looked at some of the social media, you can see already how people are starting to play with our logos and our mascots. So you can find on Twitter some combination of the SUSE Gecko, SUSE Chameleon, and the Rancher cow, and very creative propositions. So that will be discussed and put together in the coming weeks and months, and once the deal is closed. But Rancher has a very strong brand.
This is one last question, which once again falls into the gray area of whether you can answer it right now or not. There are a lot of things that between Rancher and SUSE that also overlap. You mentioned K3S, and then they also have K3, I think K3 OS, which is a very lightweight Linux-based distribution for which is based on Ubuntu. And if you look at SUSE, you guys have MicroOS, you also have Cubic, you have CASP, a lot of technology which are designed for Edge. And SUSE is heavy into HPC space. So once again, this is not a question for legal reason, but for the community. What will happen with the technology that are overlapping?
So if you look at it from a community angle, I mean, the open source, that's one of the beauty or one of the drawback, depending on how you look at it. But there's a lot of overlapping technologies in the open source communities, and that's okay in the communities. I mean, there are different ways to do the same thing. Now, of course, as a business, we will be looking at bringing the best of both worlds together and keeping what makes sense, improving, increasing, migrating what also makes sense. And we will do that with our customers in mind, especially when we talk about the business side of things. The open source communities will come together. It's a bit early as well, even from that aspect. So more to come after we close the deal.
Thomas, thank you so much for taking your time at such a short notice and talk about this acquisition, because this is really a big acquisition, not only for SUSE, but also for the ecosystem itself, because a lot of consolidation is happening. Last year we saw Red Hat got acquired by IBM, and now SUSE is acquiring one of the big player. So it's really great, exciting times ahead, especially in this crisis era of COVID-19. But what I do see is that a lot of synergy between, as you rightly mentioned, Rancher Labs. I love them. They do a lot of open source there, and SUSE, of course, you guys do open source there. So I'm really excited to see once all the deal is closed, what does the not only the company but the community and the whole product and service ecosystem looks like. So once again, Thomas, thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you, Swapnil, and we're also very excited for the communities, for the customers, and for the industry as well. Bringing SUSE and Rancher together is going to be fantastic. Thank you.